Spring Lake Park High School, the site of tonight's Northwest Suburban Conference matchup between the Spring Lake Park Panthers and the visiting Champlin Park Rebels. It is Grant Guzy's final game in the regular season, and he is being honored tonight. Lots of video messages from players, a special table set up outside of the arena with a lot of mementos from Guzy's 30-year career in charge of the boys basketball program here at Spring Lake Park High School. It started in 1992, and he is going for win number 420 tonight as the two teams that are tied for 9th in the Northwest Suburban Conference square off. Champlin Park having a down year, 5-18 on the season, 5-12 in conference play. Spring Lake Park 8-16 and 5-12 in conference play. And right now, we will have special guests tonight all through tonight's game. We'll be broadcasting the game, but also having a bunch of alumni on from the past teams that have played for Coach Guzy, as this is a sort of a special tribute broadcast to Grant Guzy as they celebrate him here tonight. The band's in the house. It's a pretty packed house here, and it should be a special evening here in Spring Lake Park tonight. And hopefully the Panthers can get a W for Grant Guzy as well, as we're underway. The tip won by the Panthers. Thompson out for O'Giles. Down for Kesty, kicked out for Logan Kinsey. Pull up from the baseline is no good. And it's snatched down by Alex Gamber, the 6'6" senior, into the front court. This is Ethan Laquanda, 15.3 points a game. Top of the key for Ayo Taki. Lorenzo Andrews pulls up from the elbow. That's no good. And Logan Kinsey skies for the rebound. He's averaging 10 boards a game. But it should be a fun night and a special night, hopefully. Long three from the wing is off the mark. Cold shooting in the early going as we're about a minute gone by first half. Conduit driving, gets all the way in and then lays it off, and the layup is good by Gamber. So Alex Gamber with the first points of the game. But guys like Billy Porter, Tommy Anderson, John Kirk, Steve Bailey, Chris Anderson, and others will be joining us tonight throughout the broadcast. Nice little pass underneath, and Kesty, Stephen Kesty gets on the board for Spring Lake Park. Laquanda gives for Andrews left wing. On the block, Gamber underneath for Andrews, who lays it in. Lorenzo Andrews gets on the board. O'Giles thought about a three. Matchup zone being played by the Rebels. That three-pointer's long, but it's tough to rebound in a zone, and Kinsey makes him pay. O'Giles from the corner for three. Nick O'Giles, one of his specialties is the three-point field goal, and he gives Spring Lake Park a 5-4 lead. Luke Graff out there as well. Taki wants a long three. That goes to Logan Kinsey's brother, Will. Hands for Logan. MSU Moorhead, this destination next season for the Kinsey brothers. Working around that zone. Kesty in the key. Now it's O'Giles who dumps it on the block. Ball movement can beat a zone, and they get an open three from Thompson. That's no good. And again, Kesty grabs down the offensive rebound. Thompson pulls up in the lane. Kinsey with another rebound down low. Can't get it, the layup to go. A lot of offensive rebounds, but not much in the way of points off those. Graff wants a three from the left wing, drains it. Luke Graff, sophomore, 6'2", averaging almost 12 a game, drains the triple for Champlin Park. Again, they're sort of playing that matchup zone, so how well can Spring Lake Park beat it? And we'd like to welcome Billy Porter to the broadcast, 2001 graduate of Spring Lake Park High School. And Billy, what was your experience like playing for Coach Guzy over the years?
Well, I'll tell you, he was as prepared, or he had us as prepared as we could be. We'd usually play at night like we are right now. And the next day we'd go to his classroom and he'd have scouting reports already printed off for our upcoming opponent, with things they did well, things they didn't like to do well. He had the film all queued up, and we never went into a game unprepared. And it was a lot of fun. He's a great guy, as shown by all of the good turnout we have here. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And now he seems like it's beloved, and you can tell from the outpouring of support and messages outside of the arena. But what was the kind of the most valuable thing that he sort of taught you in your time on varsity?
Preparation. I mean, he made sure that before me personally, my biggest thing was kind of learning the set offense and just being prepared and understanding that and putting the time in necessary to figure that out. And you know, at the time, a lot of that was lost on me because I was a kid. But as you look back on it, he did teach me a lot about kind of you get out of it what you put into it.
Sure.
And he sure taught a lot to me.
Do you think that he got the most out of your talent?
Absolutely. He, you know, I was a kid who liked to play basketball, and he taught me to think the game a lot more than I ever had before, and I had a heck of a good time doing it.
What was your favorite game to play in as a Panther? Your favorite rivalry to partake in?
I would say either Totino Grace or Fridley. I loved playing against Grace, but my favorite game was it was in the section quarterfinals against Fridley, triple overtime at Fridley. Spring Lake Park won.
Good atmosphere.
Unbelievable. A lot of local connections there between Coach Guzy being from Columbia Heights. You got Fridley in the middle, and you got Spring Lake Park, and you got the bucket of sand. And 3 overtimes later, we beat them, and they were a good team that year. So that was a ton of fun.
Yeah. So that's your most memorable moment from your time as a Panther, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Billy, thank you so much for taking time to join us tonight. We appreciate it, and thanks for being here to celebrate Coach Guzy tonight.
Thanks for having me.
That was Billy Porter, 2001 graduate of the Panthers alumni, describing his experience playing under Coach Grant Guzy. 11-10 our score here as Ethan Laquanda ties it up at 11. He's got 4 in the early going. We expect Tommy Anderstrom to join us here. And he sits down, so Tommy Anderstrom puts on the headset. And Tommy, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
What was your experience like playing for Coach Grant Guzy?
Well, a lot of fond memories. Basketball was so fun. You know, what stands out is that he pushed us, but you knew he really cared, and he knew how to balance that really well. And it's great to see the success he's had since, and he's been able to be here so long, and just a testament to that.
What do you think is the key to his longevity? Because not many guys stay in a role 30 years like he has, and he's racked up almost 419 wins. Why? What do you think has been the sort of the key to his success?
You know, I touched on, I think he loves basketball. I can remember going to his camps as a kid. I'm teaching the same fundamentals to my kids. So that's obviously important. But, you know, coming back to alumni games and then reflecting as I get older, you could tell that the guys who come back, and it's a lot of them, they really care. And they, you know, whether it's Adam Holmgren putting together some stuff and organizing things, or, you know, other guys that I didn't even know, really just, it's a reflection of all he's done and the type of person he is, so.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have that much alumni support and you see the outpouring, the video messages and the table outside, it speaks to the kind of family culture that he's created around this program.
Yeah, and you look at the facilities, the gym is amazing, so that's only gotten better. And, you know, again, that's a part of what the coaching and the program is doing as well, so that's a reflection.
Do you think you got the most out of your talent as a high schooler?
I do. I was thinking about that today, and, you know, he was a pioneer because he let me be a high-volume three-point shooter, and I wasn't very good.
Before it was cool.
I wasn't very good at the percentage, but, you know, I was showing my son some of the stats because he was asking about it, and I realized that I really did jack up a bunch of threes my senior season, and that, you know, it wasn't the best percentage, but he's a pioneer.
They don't even worry about percentages now.
Yeah.
Tommy, they don't even worry about percentages now. They don't ask how many, they ask how many you made.
Right,
That's
awesome.
not how many you took. So what was your favorite, if you can remember, favorite game or favorite, maybe a team that you really enjoyed or really got up for playing?
Probably Totino Grace. They were a pretty big football rival, and I think we didn't come out very good the first time we played in my senior year at their place. That might have even been a locker room Grant Guzy chair toss as he was giving us pointers on what to do. But yeah, then we came back and beat them at home, and so, but I always got up for Grace, that's for sure.
Yeah. Do you like coming back here and watching the current iteration of the Panthers?
Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, I can't get over how big everybody is. I mean, I
Right.
never was a big guy, but it's everybody plays above the rim, and it's awesome to see how basketball is evolving.
Yeah, the athleticism and the speed just seems to get more and more every year, right?
Absolutely.
So, what do you think? Kind of looking back on it, what did you maybe not appreciate in the moment because you were a kid, but you appreciate now about the way Grant Guzy went about his job? Was it the preparation? Was it the details and things like that?
I think the preparation, and I think he brought an energy. I can see him on the sideline right now, and he still has that same energy, that same look. But I think he brought an energy that, as I coach younger kids now, where I try to influence people, I think it's really infectious, and that's just him using his strengths and being natural about it. But it's really powerful.
Well, Tommy, we appreciate you joining us tonight, and thanks so much for your time and stuff. And,
My pleasure.
Thanks for coming back and celebrating Coach Guzy tonight.
Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. That was Tommy Anderstrom, 2001 graduate, same class as Billy Porter, playing for Grant Guzy. We expect John Kirk to join us shortly here on the court. It's 20-14 Spring Lake Park as we're just about midway through this first half of action. 7 points for Peyton Thompson to lead the way for the Panthers. Kesty's got 6. And it's so wonderful to hear the praise of former players as the Rebels turn the basketball over. Freddie Anthony and Bo Johnson check into the game. But obviously you can just get a sense for the impact that Coach Guzy had on so many kids at that time, and to see them come back as John Kirk takes a seat, 2005 Panther graduate, puts on the headset. And John, thanks for joining us tonight here on North Metro TV. What were your big takeaways like when you think back on your career, Grant Guzy? What was sort of the things that stood out about how he taught the game?
So first and foremost, Grant he's got this thing about him, and he does it right. Whenever you think of people and leading teams and leading our youth, there's no better representative than Grant Guzy. And it starts all the way at the junior level. He runs summer basketball programs and camps that the more seniors and juniors participate in and lead as coaches. It gives not only them a chance to lead our younger players and younger youth, but it gives little kids in elementary and middle school a chance to learn the game and the basic fundamentals.
And it seems like the stuff that he's taught is timeless, right? The stuff that he was teaching, back in the mid-2000s is still applicable today in terms of the fundamentals.
Absolutely. I keep coming back. I now am one of the assistant golf coaches with the old high school team.
Oh,
and
nice.
A lot of that is because of Guzy. He keeps you wanting to come back and giving back to youth. And he really it's part of his personality and who he is.
Yeah. How does this year's team compare to the teams that you were on back in the?
So they've been much better recently over the last few years than the success of my 2005 class ever made it. But we did have the first state program of 2004, the year right before I was a senior. They actually made it to the state tournament, so it was pretty impressive. And now they've really been year in, year out a successful group.
Did you have this much size on your team?
No. I think the tallest guy in my class was 5'10", 5'11". We were short.
Yeah, pretty amazing to see, like 6'6", 6'6", 6'8", 6'4".
They can all shoot it. They can all drive and dish. It's incredible.
Yeah, kind of the size and athleticism of today's game is
Right.
pretty remarkable, even at the high school level.
Right, I completely agree.
As Champlin Park settles in for a couple free throws, Spring Lake Park with a 5-point lead, as we have John Kirk with us here on North Metro TV. And John, what were the games when you were playing? What were the games, junior, senior year when you were contributing that you most look forward to? Who'd you love to face?
I didn't play a lot when I was a more senior player, but I still don't think there's a better rivalry than playing Totino Grace. And no matter what the sport is, oh man, we just want to beat them up and beat them bad. And so if you're not amped about a Totino Grace matchup, there's something wrong with you.
And then now that you're a golf coach, do you still get the sort of the pre-match jitters? I mean, it's golf, so it's a long game, but does the nerves before a game, does that ever change?
No, I think it's the same thing with the golf team players. Is they get fired up, they get ready to play, they're ready to compete, but there's just that extra level when we play Totino or some of those other rivalries that you just want to bring your A game that day, no matter what.
Yeah, for sure. The tough part about golf, though, is, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't necessarily play better when I'm angry. So it's one of those things where you got to sort of channel that aggression into, positive swing thoughts.
There
right?
is a give and take, absolutely.
Yeah.
And getting frustrated does not help, but we do our best.
Yeah, for sure. So what's something that, maybe Coach Guzy brought to his style of coaching that you've borrowed? I mean, I know it's not the same sport, but what's something, the way he approached coaching, is there anything that you've taken from how he did it and tried to apply to your golf coaching?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say one thing that's always stuck with me is he's very professional in every way that he leads himself, and what the message he delivers to younger players is be a representative of who you want to be and who you think others, what they feel about who you are as well. And always stay professional is bottom line.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad lesson. And if you do that as a kid too, I feel like as a teenager and stuff, you can really stand out and set yourself apart as well.
Absolutely.
So, well, John, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate you dropping by.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Coming out to support Coach Guzy tonight.
Yeah, cheers, Grant.
That was John Kirk, 2005 graduate, and Grant Guzy loyalist, now an assistant boys golf coach here at Spring Lake Park High School, as Thompson takes it down and then a little flex, and he gets teed up for that flex. It was a minor flex, but he does get the basket. He's got 11 in the first half. Panthers out to a 9-point lead, as 2010 graduate Steve Bailey should be making his way to our broadcast position shortly. We have a timeout on the floor. Meanwhile, we're going to keep it here. We'll hear from guys like Chris Anderson, Neil Stenstrom, Nick Montague, 1998 graduate, and others throughout the game today. And it's just so fascinating and awesome to hear about the impact. As you see Thompson driving and taking it in, and then the little flex at the end is what earned him the tee. It's hard to do that right in front of the ref and get away with it, but at the end of the day, got to have a little fun, as Steve Bailey throws on the headset. And Steve, thanks for joining us tonight on the broadcast.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So we're honoring Coach Grant Guzy tonight, obviously, and what were your fond memories, or when you think about your time in the Panthers uniform, what stands out most to you?
I go all the way back when, even before I was in high school and middle school, Guzy was at all of our traveling games, trying to make connections with everybody. And I really remember those days, because which led up to finally playing for him. And he's just been such a great guy, and willing to come down to the youth and take a look at us and then have us come on up was awesome.
Now, I don't know, do you coach these days?
Well, actually, I coached here at Spring Lake Park High School for 10 seasons here for 10
wow.
years. Yeah, and then my little guy was on the way, and there wasn't enough hours in the day.
Yeah, no, understandable. What was it like so you have a unique perspective in that you both played and worked under him. What was he like to work under as an assistant coach?
Oh, I mean, it was amazing, honestly. You know, he taught me so much about the game, and, you know, even after playing for him and being in his systems and everything like that, it was just like, you know, it was great to coach with him, to see kind of all those little details that I might have not saw as a player, which made me grow and appreciate the game even more.
I feel like the thing I hear a lot, and certainly the thing I feel is like, man, if I understood the game at 17 the way I understood it at 30, I would have been so much better at 17.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because you just see it different. But
yeah.
in terms of when you were a player, what were the games, what were the teams, the opponents you most look forward to playing?
Oh man, Totino Grace was definitely probably number one. You know, big rivalry game with those guys. We had amazing games with those guys. I remember just my juniors and senior years were battles, but also Columbia Heights down the street, you know, where Coach Guzy spent a little time as well before coming to Park. You know, those are definitely games we got up for because we knew that he wanted to win those games just as bad as we did. So
yeah, fair enough. In terms of his system, you've kind of been there. Has his system evolved over the years, or how much has it evolved as he's had a new, different style of player, like bigger and Logan Kinsey types?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great question. You know, I feel like, you know, in our 2009 state tournament team, you know, we were really up-tempo, running-gun type of team, and we could really hit the three at a high rate. So it was, we definitely played it really up-tempo, but just to your point with the personnel changes and everything like that, he definitely does adapt to who he has on the floor and tries to see those strengths and put his team in the best position to win a game.
You know, it's interesting, too, talking about, and it's something I imagine you saw as both a player and an assistant coach, but in talking to some other players tonight, they keep coming back to his preparation and how prepared he was. Is that something you noticed in your time with him as well?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just from the film sessions to everything that he'd put up on the board, I mean, in that week preparation, whether we're playing twice in a week or once in a week, we were so familiar with the opponent by the time we got to him. So, I mean, his preparation led to us on the floor calling out actions before they happened, and, you know, and being able to just counter everything the other team was doing just because of how prepared Coach Guz was night in and night out.
Yeah, no question about it, and certainly that speaks to this kind of seriousness and professionalism that he approached the program with, and that's kind of been a trademark of him. It must be so cool to see so many former players back here tonight, kind of, you know, in honor of him, right? And it speaks to the video tributes outside and the table outside. It speaks to, you know, his impact throughout the years.
No, 100%. I mean, again, it speaks loud and clear about the character that Coach Guzy has and everything that he instilled in us when we were playing for him. He's just somebody that, you know, it's not just like your coach in a lot of ways. You know, it's like your father too. You know, and I think that in the community with our alumni and everybody out here tonight, it just shows how much that he was loved.
Yeah, no question about it. And Steve, we thank you very much for dropping by the broadcast and sharing your insights.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yep, take care. That was Steve Bailey, 2010 graduate, 2009 member of the state tournament team, coming by to share his experience, and a former assistant coach for Spring Lake Park for the past decade. So certainly someone that is very familiar with Grant Guzy over the years as a coach, and also just with this program in general. So we thank Steve for stopping by and sharing his insights. And we'll talk to Chris Anderson as Logan Kinsey throws it down and earns the foul. He's into double figures as well, as Chris Anderson sits down and throws on the headset. And Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight here on North Metro TV.
Yeah, you bet.
Now, your experience, you played back in '94 for Guzy in his early time here at Spring Lake Park, but what are your memories from your time playing for Guzy?
Well, I remember a lot of losses, first of all. We didn't get Guzy a good start.
We didn't get it going.
No, we didn't get the great guys, but we had so much fun playing for him, even in the midst of a 4-win season and a 9. We got a little bit better the second year, but I just remember the practices were still fun. Everyone was still engaged, and Guz just made it a great experience for everybody. So.
And what did he? Well, how was it different? His approach different from the previous coach?
I think I don't know if it's different from the previous coach, but Guz was just had such a respect for every player, all the way down, guy 1 through 20, and they all had respect for him as well. And he's just had a real team concept, just keeping guys together. Like I said, the practices stick out to me as being fun. We had fun going to practice.
Right, right, exactly. Which is, I mean, it sounds trite to say, but at the end of the day, that is the name of the game, right?
Exactly.
In terms of, especially at the high school level.
Yeah.
So what's it like coming back and watching the 2022 version of the Panthers? Does it feel like, boy, this is a different team than we had in '94?
Oh, yeah. Every game I've come to since, I'm just like, it seems like they just get better and better. The whole game is just faster. The players are just better and stronger. And it's just that, I'll go back and watch them.
Bigger, probably.
Bigger, exactly. I'll go back and watch some VHS tapes of our games every once in a while and just how slow the game was. And so I just think overall the players have just gotten better and the game is better.
Yeah, but Guzy, still has his coaching principles, which is something that's always impressive as well.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, it's fun to watch them.
Now, back in the early 90s when you played, what were the teams that you got up most to play? What were the games you most looked forward to playing?
Well, it was probably a two lists. There's the teams that were really good that you just want your shot at, your St. Francis's, your Elk River, your Moundsview. But then you had the other list of the teams where you knew you had a shot, your Buffaloes, your Centennials,
right.
Columbia Heights, stuff like that. So I kind of had two lists, I think.
Yeah, well, you're the first guy tonight we've talked to that hasn't said Totino Grace.
Totino Grace.
Because the proximity is so close, right?
Yeah, that's true.
People get very excited. Everyone likes a local rivalry and whatnot. So that's a lot of fun. So I don't know if you did any coaching or anything with outside of, post-college days, once you were married and everything, but is there anything that sort of are characteristics that if you were to coach or did coach, you would try to emulate from Coach Guzy? I mean, the fun part for sure, but...
Yeah, I haven't done any coaching. So I'm trying to think what comes to mind here.
The old hypothetical.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just, outside of the fun, it's just how he was always behind you. He was always
the support.
Yeah, just the support for you. He would get on the refs for you if you knew he had a bad call against you. And you just knew he was always just on your side, and that's what I loved about Guz.
Which makes a difference for a high school kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whose confidence can sometimes fluctuate. I mean. But yeah, that has to mean a lot, and it's so wonderful to see how many alumni have come back. All the video messages of support, the table outside. Yep. I mean, it really,
it's very telling. Very telling.
Right, exactly. It must speak to his impact that he had.
Yeah, you don't hear bad words about Guz. We have the alumni tournament every year. For the last 30 years, you got guys coming back, and you never hear anyone complaining about their time playing for Guz. It's just all positive, and everybody loves the guy.
Yeah, and that is telling tonight with the number of players we've had come through on the broadcast that are here tonight to honor him in his last regular season home game. So, and they're off to a good start. But Chris, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. And thanks for stopping by the broadcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, that was Chris Anderson, 1994 graduate, Spring Lake Park High School in the early Guz years. As there's just 31 seconds left in the first half. We thank all the players for stopping by tonight to share their experiences under Coach Grant Guzy as he goes for win number 420 in his illustrious career. 3 state tournament appearances, numerous accolades. That 2000 to 2010 year had some phenomenal teams. 04, 07, 09. Logan Kinsey with 14 points. He snags the rebound. 38-30. Spring Lake Park on top of Champlin Park with 20 seconds left. They'll hold for one shot as Peyton Thompson holds outside the logo. 15 seconds left. There'll be a 5-minute ceremony honoring Guzy as Thompson pulls up from the left wing. That's off the mark. Ojau flies in for the rebound and gets the stick back with 2.7 to go. Time expires here in the first half. 40-30 our score at halftime. Spring Lake Park on top of Champlin Park by 10. We'll keep it here at Spring Lake Park High School. Champlin Park heads off to the locker room. There will be a special ceremony here tonight. Right now for Coach Grant Guzy. So Spring Lake Park stays on the court. And we'll throw it to public address announcer with the microphone here momentarily. A good first half for Spring Lake Park. As you see the big numbers right there. And all the 419 career victories. Obviously the 3-time section coach of the year, and then we said the 3 state tournament appearances. So Coach Guzy with a really illustrious career, but I think his impact is being felt so much more in terms of, you know, the numerous alumni that are taking the court and that have joined the broadcast generously throughout the first half, guys from 94 all the way to 2010 and beyond. So certainly a lot of players over the years coming back to in homage to their coach, who they speak so fondly of in those interviews. As we throw it down to the court for the ceremony.
Tonight, attention please. Tonight, we celebrate the career and upcoming retirement of our head coach, Ryan Guzy. For over 33 years, Coach Guzy has been a head coach, and for 30 years as head coach here at Spring Lake Park. Throughout his tenure as head coach, doing what is best for the player, the team, and the program are always at the forefront of every decision Coach Guzy has made. Whether in practice or games, his commitment and high expectations for his players never waver. And he always knows what to do to put his guys in position for success. His excellence on the court and passion for the game cannot be argued. Whether it be creative X's and O's, a well-timed game adjustment, the excitement in his voice during the pregame talk, or a slightly animated discussion with an official. The Panthers have often taken on his personality and are known to compete to their highest potential, play fast, with toughness and class, play smart, and play together. He has coached teams with a lot of talent, and some without as much. But no matter what, his kids always believed that they were going to play well and battle for each other until the final buzzer went off. Coach Guzy and his teams always played a tough schedule, never backed down from a challenge, and steadily improved over the season. All the while leading to our favorite time of year, March. And when that time of year came, you knew that his teams were going to be well prepared and ready to fight, no matter what the size of the challenge. And they would go about it with the same tenacity as their head coach pacing the sidelines. With over 400 wins, 3 state tournament appearances, a conference championship, multiple section of the year awards, a state coach of the year award, and numerous competitive teams who have won many games and made deep section runs, Coach Guzy has undoubtedly had a lot of success in winning in his career. However, if you asked him, the reason he coached was for the meaningful relationships and to provide an experience for countless kids that have helped lead them to become successful in the future, long after their playing days were over. Teaching kids valuable lessons about first becoming selfless members of a basketball family, and then having the tools to become productive and active members of their community are much more important than any win-loss record would ever be to him. Being there for his players often extends beyond the court, and current and former players always know that Coach Guzy has their back in good times and in tough times once they've been part of the program. And in return, they will always have his. The proof in the success of being part part of the program can be seen and heard when speaking to one of his former players. They'll come back to reminisce, watch games, tell the stories of their playing days, play in the annual Alumni tournament, or even coach in the program. Almost always, they talk with pride of their experience as a Panther, the valuable lessons learned, and the relationships formed from being a part of it all. Coach Guzy wouldn't want it any other way. Coach, the current Panthers are going to fight to make sure your coaching career doesn't end too soon. But when that time comes, know that the immeasurable positive impact that you've had on your players will last a lifetime, and your legacy in this community will live on forever.
Tonight is about you, but first we'd like to thank your wife Lisa and daughter Allie for letting us borrow you for the last 30 years. Being a coach of life, responsible coach, and memories, thank you both. With that said, all of your former players would like to say congratulations on your retirement and your illustrious career. You have won more than 400 games, which is quite the achievement, but that number pales in comparison to the number of lives you've impacted both in the classroom and on the court. Your passion was contagious, your energy limitless, and your attention to detail second to none. Legendary coach Don Meyer once said, "It is foolish to expect a young man to follow your advice and ignore your example. As a leader of young men, you always conducted yourself with class and sportsmanship. What we learn from you will always be bigger than basketball." All of us alumni are lucky to have you as a coach. Thank you for everything. We wish you nothing but the best in retirement. You built more than a basketball program. You built a family. And for that, we will forever be grateful. We love you, Coach.
Very touching ceremony here to the halftime break to honor Grant Guzy, the head coach, longtime head coach, over 33 years as a head coach. He started at Columbia Heights. He spent the last 3 decades at Spring Lake Park, and obviously the halftime ceremony is enough to let you know how much he meant to this program, and hopefully the Panthers can send him out with win number 420 here tonight. We'll have the second half coming up in a moment here from Spring Lake Park High School. 40-30 our score here at the half on North Metro TV.
We in Spring Lake Park believe in building a strong and safe community. Our city moves onward and upward while holding on to our traditions and roots. We maintain a small town feel even though we are nestled next to the big city. We believe in being good neighbors and building community with safe neighborhoods. And we believe in citizenry and promote being active both physically and socially. We in Spring Lake Park love to play and believe in having an abundance of parks, playgrounds, and green space so that everyone can take a moment to enjoy the natural beauty that surrounds us. We believe in educating our children well, so we use the most advanced tools of learning to ensure continued success and bright futures. We promote athletics to keep our children fit and healthy and build a sense of teamwork. We in Spring Lake Park believe in providing a good, stable home for industry and small business to thrive. We have a large variety of successful businesses that have found continued success and benefit from excellent visibility off Highway 65. And a large customer base, as we are located only 15 minutes outside of downtown Minneapolis. Come visit us in Spring Lake Park, and you will see why we believe our city is one of a kind.
Back here at Spring Lake Park High School, as the Panthers enjoy a 10-point lead over Champlin Park. As we see Ogile hitting a 3 from the corner, and then Peyton Thompson gets 3 of his 11 points. Champlin answers back with an Ethan Laquanda 3. He had 7 to lead the Panthers. Lorenzo Andrews converts the turnover for Champlin Park, as Andrews gets another layup. More first half highlights. And then the layup at end of the half for Spring Lake Park, the stick back by Ogile to give the Panthers their largest lead of the half, a 10-point margin, as they look to pick up win number 420 for Grant Guzy and send the legendary longtime Spring Lake Park coach off, at least in the regular season, on a winning note. So back with second half action here in a moment from Spring Lake Park High School on North Metro TV. Start of the second half here at Spring Lake Park High School, 40-30 our score, as 18 minutes are up on the clock. Ethan Laquanda, who led Champlin Park along with Gamber with 7 points apiece, starts the offense. Luke Graff for Gamber. Taki swung to the corner. As we have another guest joining us, putting the headset on, as Neil Stenstrom, the 2004 graduate, puts on the headset. And Neil, thanks for taking some time to join us today.
No problem.
So what a special night, huh, for Grant Guzy, to see all the alumni, to have, you know, an 11-point lead. But what have you thought of the festivities here tonight?
It's been great. It's definitely a different style of game that they play now than they did back when I played.
Yeah. What do you think of the current team and versus the team that you were on? How does it look stylistically different?
They're a lot bigger, a lot more athletic, and they shoot threes a lot more. So the pace of the game is a lot faster than what we did.
Yeah, that's kind of a common theme. But looking back on your time under Grant, you were obviously a part of some pretty successful teams. But what kind of were the most impressive things that Coach Guzy taught you or left you with when you were playing?
Well, one of the things that he always talked about and preached to us and taught us as players is that just don't let anybody else outwork you. Go out there and go give 100% all the time and do your best and hope for the best, essentially.
I guess that's all you can do, right?
Yeah.
Do you think his style or the style of game he's played has changed, or has it just kind of evolved as he's had teams with different sizes and whatnot? I mean, his fundamentals, he still teaches the fundamentals the same,
yep,
I assume, over those 30 years. And that's one of the reasons he's had so much success, right? Almost 400, on the verge of 420 wins, knock on wood, and that's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. I mean, his coaching style has to change with the different players that he has when they go through the program. With my class, we weren't very big. We ran the passing game, which was basically we're passing the ball around until we can get the exact shot that we want. So it was lower scoring games, not as many threes, patience, and good defense is what really won our games when we played.
Now, were you a run? Were you a pace team? Did you get up and down?
No.
Just
no.
methodical and worked the offense.
Yep, like we had to work for every shot opportunity that we had. Like I said, we weren't very big. I think our biggest player was 6'3", 6'4", and then there was me at like 6'1".
Right.
Playing the center position style. So.
Right.
So a lot differently.
What were the games that you most look forward to playing, the opponents that you particularly got excited to face?
Well, we always got excited to play Totino, Grace, although we usually were on the bad end of a game there.
Yeah.
But any conference game we got up for, but we knew when it came to the section games is when our teams usually came together and played well. And fortunately enough for us, we got hot at the right time and was able to make a run that year.
You know, something that a couple guys have talked about tonight is how prepared they felt coming into each game. Did you feel that way as well, that Coach Guzy, you knew what you were getting into when you played a team?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there was, we did film back then too, and scouting team, and we knew what to expect, who the players were, what we had to do to try to shut things down, and then, like I said, he emphasized the hard work and do everything to the best of your ability.
You know, it's a real testament to his legacy that so many alum have showed up tonight. You've got the video messages outside, the table of newspaper clippings and whatnot. That must really speak to, the impact he had within the community and at the school.
Absolutely. I mean, one thing for me is coaches, he's still been a part of our lives even after we're done with basketball. So, with the alumni tournament, seeing him at least once a year. And then if we're lucky enough to see him outside of basketball, he's always made an effort with emails and whatnot to stay in contact. So, yeah, he wasn't just a coach. He continued to be a friend as everything grew up, as everyone grew up and evolved in their lives.
The Panthers take a timeout, 49-35, early in the second half. Neil, thank you so much for your time. This is Neil Stenstrom dropping by the broadcast booth. Appreciate your coming on.
Thank you.
2004 graduate Neil Stenstrom, as he said, 6'1", the second tallest player on his team that made it to the state tournament. There's an alley-oop. Almost everybody above 6'1" these days, as Logan Kinsey finishes 6'6". We expect Nick Montague to join us here momentarily, 1998 graduate, and many more players throughout the remainder of this broadcast. Largest lead of the game, Logan Kinsey balling out tonight with 20 points. Kinsey already above his season average. Peyton Thompson with 11. As Nick Montague sits down and puts on the headset. Interviewing you. We welcome Nick Montague to the broadcast. I'm Bill Hupp.
Hey, nice to meet you.
And Nick, you're a 1998 graduate. What do you remember about your time playing for Coach Guzy?
Man, it was the best. Playing high school basketball, that's like the best time of your life. Summer times with the camp, all of it. It was literally the best time.
What are the traits or characteristics you think that make Coach Guzy, has made Coach Guzy such a successful and long tenured coach?
Probably because he played the game. So he could see the game the way that we saw it. And he had great fundamentals, all of it. The plays that he drew up, just basically a player's coach. So he knew what we were seeing on the floor, and that translated in the way that he coached us.
Is it interesting to think back on your teams in the late 90s and then watch this team play these days? I mean, stylistically, it must feel a little bit different.
I mean, they play a much more free-flowing style than we played. We played more of a motion, kind of geared more around what people were playing at the time. And these kids are a lot bigger than we were.
Right, yeah, the speed and the athleticism, it's remarkable, isn't it?
The size.
Right.
I mean, we didn't have any, there might have been 3-4 kids in the whole conference that were 6'6". And
you have twins that are 6'6".
Yeah, I mean, we did have Prisabilla, so we had that to face, but the height wasn't like this. And
Joel Prisbilla was in this conference?
Yep, he was a senior the same way we were.
Oh, he's a Monticello Magic. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and had no idea what he was doing. He was blocking 18-foot shots up into the stands.
This is a secret that no one else knows, but I'm from Chicago.
Okay.
So, no, everybody knows that. No, that's fascinating. What were, speaking of other schools, as I segue smoothly here, what were the teams, the games that you particularly looked forward to playing? Who did you really get up for?
Totino and St. Francis. Those were, and Monticello, but Totino and St. Francis, especially with Totino being just down the road.
Yeah.
And they would try to poach the better athletes from here if they had the opportunity to. So Totino for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of fun. And it's a testament. It's pretty amazing, isn't it, to come back and see how many alumni have showed up, the annual tournament that he hosts, and then tonight, how many players have come back, have left video tributes, have, you look at the table outside. It must be a real testament to the impact and the legacy that he's left here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, from, all of us kind of still being around and staying in touch, and the summer basketball camps where we would all play together, and then the alumni tournament where people get to know, the guys from grades above them and below them. Everybody's still pretty much friends. We all still kind of keep in touch from time to time, and, it's nice to see everyone here to give Guzy a good send-off.
Yeah, no, that's great, and it's it's what he deserves after 30 years and 420 wins nearing. So it's an incredible career, and he's still spry, still energetic, running up and down that sideline.
He looks about the same as I haven't played in the alumni. Obviously, we lost a couple years with COVID, but he still looks the same as the last time I was here playing in it.
Yeah, well, it's tremendous that you're able to come out tonight. Nick, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming by the broadcast and giving us some insight. That was Nick Montague, 1998 graduate of the Panthers. Speaking about the impact that Grant Guzy had on his career in a Panthers uniform, and continue to have more players cycling through as the Panthers take a timeout with a 17-point lead, 53-36, with 11:03 remaining. As we have Adam Holmgren hopping on the broadcast now, 2000 graduate. Adam, welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for setting up all these interviews as well. It must feel very heartwarming to see how much alumni support there is tonight for Coach Guzy's night.
Absolutely. It just shows that he built something that, as I said in our little halftime thing, it's bigger than basketball. It really is a family here, and people come back from 1994, to come hang out and watch games and come to the alumni tournament, and it's just something pretty special that Guzy's built over the years.
Yeah, no question. Now, thinking back to your playing days, what do you remember most about Coach Guzy as a coach, and what about his coaching style, what about those characteristics has made him last for 30 years at one school and be as successful as he has?
I think it's really just the love of the game and the love of the kids, right? He's always been so compassionate, always encouraged all of us to do our best, not only in basketball, but outside of the game. The lessons that he's taught us over the years has just been insurmountable. I still coach a little bit in the program in the off season, so he's got me back. There's a lot of former alumni on the staff over there, so it just kind of proves to what kind of person he is, and what a great mentor he is for all of these young kids.
Yeah, no question about it, and he still looks like he's spry and getting up and down those sidelines. He looks like he could do another 10 years.
I think he could go forever. He loves the game so much. I specifically remember him still competing with us back in the late 90s, early 2000s in scrimmages and stuff. And back then it was amazing what kind of player he still was at that time of his career. I'm convinced he could still get out there and give a couple good minutes.
Oh, I don't doubt it. As Logan Kinsey gets the hoop and the harm, 24 for the senior captain tonight. He's really showing out tonight. As you see Kinsey just kind of shielding off the defender and somehow using those long levers to get the basket in as he goes to the line looking to make it 25. Can't get it, and then tracks down the rebound, takes a timeout, and the Panthers retain possession. What an impressive display of athleticism, and it must be pretty fun for you to come back here. I mean, you're part of the program now, obviously, Adam, but to see the way basketball is played and to see this, just the size and athleticism must feel different even from 2 decades ago.
Oh, it's amazing. I told Guzy a couple of years ago that I wouldn't even be able to play on your teams anymore, Guz. These kids are so long, so athletic, so skilled. It's amazing what basketball's turned into over the last, 5 or 6 years especially.
Yeah, now I'll ask you the same question that I've asked everyone who I've had on. What are the games, what are the teams that you really got up to play?
Got to be Totino Grace. They were, in their late 90s, early 2000s, they were our #1 rival. I bet you most of the guys on your list you've talked to today probably said the same thing. And the rivalry's still there. The names on the jersey, or the back of the jerseys, have changed a bit. But I think the Panthers still get up for those games against TG.
Yeah, I mean, such a close rivalry, right? Basically down the street.
Well,
and
private versus public, it's kind of another fun little additive to that.
As Logan Kinsey missed the free throw, saved it, got the timeout. They ran a play for him, and he puts the basket in. He's got 26 on the night. It's the largest lead of the game for the Panthers at 21, or at 18, I should say, math. As the Panthers pulling away in this one. Nick Ogile reaching in to swipe that away as they look to give Coach Guzy win number 420, and there's just remarkable consistency when you think about it. That's just, 15 to 20 victories regularly over the years.
Yeah, he's so consistent. All of his teams, they play the right way, and every 4 or 5 years they get a really special class that really gels together and make a fun run like their 3 state tournament teams and some of those other really talented groups.
Yeah, the kids these days shoot a lot more threes as Peyton Thompson drains one from the corner.
Yeah, I wish I played during this era. Boy, would be able to get some shots up, that's for sure. Not that we were shy, but it's definitely accepted a little bit more now. But Guzy was ahead of his time. He wanted to play fast even in the late 90s. He wasn't one that really wanted to walk it up the court. He wanted to play fast like the kids play now. So I think the times have caught up to him.
Yeah, he was the trendsetter as it's a 21-point lead for the Panthers. And yeah, Adam, you must just be, as someone who helped kind of put this night together, you must just be really pleased with the reception and the warmth. No surprise from this community that's being shared towards Coach Guzy tonight.
Yeah, we always say it's kind of the smallest big community around. Just the amount of alumni came back tonight. It's just great to see, and I know Guzy really appreciates it. So just a really special night for him and all of us.
Well, thank you so much for your efforts and for dropping by the broadcast, and feel free to keep sending players on over.
Thank you. Can I say one more thing? So we've got a former alumni watching on YouTube.
All right.
He's I believe, a principal in South Korea.
Okay.
So he wanted to kind of send his congratulations to Coach Guzy. John Wellner, I know you're watching, and hope all things are well overseas.
John, take care. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll definitely pass along your best to Coach Guzy. Adam, that was Adam Stromgren, 2000 graduate, and we thank Adam for his efforts tonight. He's arranging Holmgren as he's arranging Adam Holmgren as he's arranging the interviews for us, and we thank him for coordinating those as Ogile with a hand extended drains another triple for Spring Lake Park. 3 players now in double figures with 13 as Champlin Park, and Aaron Klepner takes a timeout. Pretty remarkable. Champlin Park, bench warning, I should say. But Champlin Park, I mean, this was a team that was 21-1 last year, perennial powerhouse, and they are down this year just 5-18. So certainly not something the Rebels are accustomed to experiencing. It's a 23-point lead for Spring Lake Park with 8 minutes remaining as we have more guests coming up and taking a seat. as we welcome Adam Remmick on from 2007. And Adam, thanks for coming out to the game tonight. And thanks for stopping by our broadcast.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So your experience playing under Coach Grant Guzy, just talk about it. What were the things that sort of stood out to you most from when he was your coach?
Well, so I had the fortunate privilege to be under him from freshman year all the way to senior year. And so
he
I
must
got
have been pretty good.
You know, I was JV during the freshman year. So,
Right.
So experiencing the state run that year, my freshman year, and then all the way up to state run my senior year, he adapted to the types of players that were on the field, or on the court. He when I was my sophomore and junior year, he needed to get more involved in the game and coach during the game. But senior year, he knew we were a team that could be led on our own and during the game, but we needed more coaching during the practice. So he adapted to the players that he had, and I thought that was a very smart coach.
Yeah, and even from your time, it must be fascinating to come back and watch these kids play 15 years later.
Yeah, I don't remember being this fast.
Right. And the size.
Yeah, they've gotten bigger.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. But when you played, what were the games? What were the teams that you most got excited to play? That you most look forward to playing?
There's always Totino Grace, but I had a cousin at Fridley, and so there's kind of a rivalry there. We had a Spring Lake Park Fridley rivalry, a bucket of sand, and that was always an exciting game to have. Just not only just for the school rivalry, but also family rivalry type of thing.
Yeah, no question with your family situation in particular. But it must be pretty heartwarming. Still, you have the alumni tournament. You've got all the alumni showing up tonight to honor Coach Guzy. You've got all the stuff outside as well. It must be pretty. It kind of speaks to his impact on the community, doesn't it, to see the kind of outpouring of support?
Yeah, he's had so much impact. Not just what you can see here, but I went to his basketball camps since I can remember. And he's involved in these kids' lives every year if they want to be, and I think that's such a great quality to have in a coach who's willing to not just coach the high schoolers, but also coach them from the ground up.
You talked about his adaptability, Adam, but what else? What are the other characteristics of him as a coach that has allowed him to rack up 419 wins to this point?
He can definitely give a good speech. If we play terrible at halftime,
would he let you know?
He'll let us know, but he doesn't put us down, right?
Right.
He'll let us know, and then he'll say, "But this is the game plan. I know you guys can do this, and you can pull through." And he always had something to say, and it was never. No one ever felt worse after talking with him.
So you felt supported, and you felt like he believed in you.
Without a doubt.
All right. Well, that's tremendous to hear, and certainly echoes. Similar sentiments we've heard all night from talking to various alumni as they've come through here. So, Adam, thank you so much for your time. It was nice to meet you. Appreciate you coming by. As Adam Remmick from 2007 dropping by the broadcast booth to share his experiences under head coach Grant Guzy. 6 minutes to go in the game. 68-47 Spring Lake Park. Make that 68-49. As Thompson tries to split a couple, misses, and the rebound is snatched down. They're being led in scoring by Ayotaki, 16.3 points a game coming in. He's got 11 tonight, and block on the floor as we await another former player to come by and share his experience. And it's just been tremendous to have players coming by all night. As we have Shaun Jensen, we welcome him to the broadcast from 2009. And Shaun, looking back on your time playing under Coach Guzy, you were part of some really successful teams, but what stands out to you as from his time coaching you?
Less about the basketball stuff and more about the life lessons. You know, basketball, you're going to win games, you're going to lose games, play well, play poorly, but it's the consistent message that he's had, you know, before our group as well, and then the kids that we're watching here tonight.
What kind of message was that to your group, if you remember?
Really just trusting in one another, right? It's easier to succeed if everybody's succeeding, so don't just worry about yourself and what your endeavors are, but look at the person next to you and make sure you're helping them out as well.
Yeah, no question about it. What do you think are the characteristics? So that's what stuck out to you from your time with him as your coach, but what do you think the characteristics are that he possesses that has allowed him to rack up 419 wins over 30 seasons, and even last 30 seasons, which is pretty remarkable in and of itself?
Yeah, I think it's getting the most out of each group. So, you know, we've had some talented rosters that I think would have been successful one way or the other, and then we've had some not so talented rosters, and he makes sure that each and every roster every year you're going to get the most out of that group of kids, and then really just like I said, the message of believing in one another. You know, if you have that off the court, then it bleeds onto the court.
Yeah, no question. So is it fun for you to come back and see the style of play these days and the size and everything?
Yeah, I coach most of the kids that we're watching here tonight in AAU, so I'm
did you?
well aware of the size difference of today's basketball versus when we were playing.
Yeah. So how is the style? Because you're a coach, so you understand. But how is the style of the game changed even since when you were playing?
I'll say there's
more threes.
I would like to say that, but our class I think holds the school record for threes.
Okay.
Back in 09, so we were getting them up as well.
So he was a trailblazer. He was a pioneer. He was ahead of his time.
Maybe Trey Scott and Tyler Yovasaker, those guys were launching nonstop. But yeah, absolutely. Basketball doesn't change too much, though, right? I mean, you're going to run pick and rolls, you're going to run post-up actions. It's just, well, how do I get from point A to point B? So it looks a little bit different on the exterior, but at the crux of what basketball is, it's, you know, make the right pass, make the right read, and put the ball in the hole, right?
Yep, for sure. Communicate on the court, you know.
Yep.
Defense on a string, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Now, when you were playing, Shaun, what were the games, the teams that you most look forward to playing against?
Oh, man, I had a strong distaste for heights, so naturally I'd like to go against them.
Yeah.
There were always fun battles, and then, you know, Fridley right down the road, TG right down the road. So those three probably were the games that I got up for the most.
So you must have really enjoyed that section final against Columbia Heights.
Absolutely, never forget it.
Is that one of the more nervous you've ever been before a game, or how'd you feel before that game?
Nah, so when I was a kid, my dad showed me this interview of Peyton Manning, and he said, you know, you either feel pressure or you apply it. And that stuck to me when I was like in 5th grade. And so I made a decision at that point in life that I was always going to apply the pressure as opposed to feel it. So I was ready to, you know, put 30 on Heights in that section finals game. And I either did or came close. So there was never any nerves. You know.
You were more mature as a 5th grader than I am now. That's remarkable.
Shout out to my dad for that one, and Peyton Manning.
Yeah, exactly. And for you, and to you as a 10-year-old for taking that message in. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I don't know why. It really just stuck with me. He said I have the choice and the decision of, are you going to feel pressure, or are you going to put it on other people? And once I thought about it that way, I was like, yeah, it's a very valid point. I'm never going to feel pressure. I'll just put it on the next person.
Is it one of the more intense atmospheres you've ever been a part of from a basketball standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, obviously our college games get a little more rowdy, you know, at that level. But from a high school perspective, absolutely, that was the most. Well, that and Minneapolis, Patrick Henry.
Oh, okay.
Actually, that was intense too, and that was a little bit of an inner squabble between me and Trey, my backcourt mate, and their backcourt thinking they were better than us. So, you know.
Which they weren't. We all know that.
Right.
So, well, Shaun, we appreciate you stopping by tonight and sharing your insights on Coach Guzy, and thanks again for the time.
Absolutely,
so
man.
Nice
appreciate
to meet
you having me.
That was Shaun Jensen stopping by the broadcast and sharing his insights here on North Metro TV, and we thank him for his time. And it's an 18-point lead for Spring Lake Park with 3:55 to go And it's been awesome to just talk to the parade of former Panthers coming through and sharing their experiences with Coach Guzy, who's on the verge of win number 420. Looking very much like that's going to happen. 31 now for Logan Kinsey. So he's showing out in his last high school game on this floor. 15 for Nick Ogile, which is well above his season average as well. To the rack, Will Kinsey throws it down. It's his only bucket tonight, but what a bucket that was. Wow. Very glad we weren't in the midst of an interview. Logan Kinsey with the steal. And the lay-in, oh, so anticlimactic. Will Kinsey will have bragging rights over his brother after that one. You know what, Shaun? Throw the headset back on. Provide some color commentary for us in this last 3:08.
Yeah, I can do that.
Why not? You know the game.
Yeah, I know the Kinsey boys. I know what makes them tick. They'll be hearing about that one.
Yeah, exactly. Peyton Thompson is a really impressive player as he goes end-to-end and lays it in. What makes Peyton Thompson such a special player?
Yeah, so we had him for AAU as well, and the guy is just his
I see
willpower.
what you're saying. You're giving all the credit to yourself. You're the one who developed them.
No. They give me the opportunity to stay a little young for a little while longer.
Yeah, fair enough.
But no, that kid is just so strong-willed. He competes every minute, every practice. I mean, we're watching him here do well in a game, but it's his practice habits, right? He comes to practice like it's the biggest game of the year. So I'd say that's his biggest trait. Yeah, all the way, 100%.
And he looks, and he's physical too. I mean, he's good size, he's strong, he's willing to attack off the dribble, attack the closeout, and he just plays with kind of a confidence that I like. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Now the Kinseys, and especially Logan Kinsey, who's having a whale of a game tonight, as Will Kinsey gets the rebound, can't lay it in. Shaun, you're gonna have to ask him about that missed dunk. Will Kinsey swipes it at midcourt to the front court, lays it in.
There we go.
Boy, this is some real Benny Hill stuff going on here in the last couple minutes. 80-55 the score. Will Kinsey has just tried to dunk everything. He steals it again, or almost did.
I think Peyton would have had one there.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
A few times. I don't know, maybe some rim grazers for him.
Yeah, possibly. So what about Logan Kinsey? How have you seen him develop over his high school career?
Yeah, so he started out as a B player back in 7th grade for traveling. And he kept that mentality in terms of there was always something that he was working towards. So, I mean, you see the progression and development over these last 4 years because he's never lost that identity of, no, my spot's not guaranteed.
As you see the dunks here for Spring Lake Park, and the Kinsey brothers subbed out, Nick Ogile and Peyton Thompson. So Coach Guzy with the classy move with 2:12 to go. 80-56 our score as the bench is officially in now. So Kinsey retained that hunger, but yeah, you see that because, I mean, this is a kid who averages a double-double and just seems to want every rebound.
Yeah, that's I think this is part of his personality. You can't turn it off in him, which is a good thing, right? He doesn't know anything different than going hard every night and every possession. So.
I mean, it can't be. You know, I haven't followed Spring Lake Park basketball for the last 30 years as closely as some others, but I have to imagine there hasn't been a team with quite this much size in a while. I mean, this has to be one of the tallest teams that SLP has had.
Without a doubt, I can say that confidently. This is the tallest, average player on the roster.
Just up and down. It's unbelievable. 6'6", 6'8", 6'8", 6'6". I mean, very, very long and very impressive, but and they can score, obviously. 81 points here tonight.
Yeah, and you just see the smile on everybody's faces, right? It's a good group to be around, and they understand it's Coach Guzy's last year as well, so I think they're out here playing for him tonight.
Yeah, no question. You can tell the intensity is there, and I just think with the scorers like Thompson and Logan Kinsey and Ogile hitting from deep, it just feels like the kind of team that could spring an upset or two in March.
No question. I'm biased, obviously, so I wouldn't see it as an upset. I think these guys have enough talent.
By seeding, I mean.
by seeding, of course. By seeding, of course. Yes, they definitely have the talent and the offensive firepower. They just got to click on all cylinders.
I mean, Tino Grace, very highly ranked team in 3A, and they took them to overtime once and lost by, I think, just 10, had them tied late. So this is a team that can play with anybody. Obviously, always difficult being in a section with Park Center.
Yep.
But you just have to feel like even if this team is a 5 seed or something, that they could put a scare into some teams.
Yeah, and I tell you, ask any of the guys, right? You got to beat the best to be the best. So if you want to be the best, you got to go beat Park Center if you want to do it.
Right. No question about it. And do you think that the football success translates it all to the basketball court? Just how much the football team won with guys like Ogile and Freddie Anthony and others involved?
Yeah, it's having a team full of leaders, and Peyton's a football player. Obviously, you can see it with his physicality, right? So having a bunch of multi-sport athletes and then just bringing over that level of discipline. Again, a lot of what you're going to see is Logan and Peyton scoring the basketball, but in practice, right? The guys that don't play as much still having that mentality of we're going to come to work, and that comes from the football program.
Yeah, Nate Litke, one of the football players obviously out there right now. Mikey Say, another football player who plays a lot of minutes and stuff. So certainly that can translate, that kind of expectation of success can translate from the football field to the basketball court.
And us basketball guys, we're kind of deemed as soft, right? So you need those football guys in there to toughen them up.
Yeah, that's true. I would not tell Litke or Ogile that they are soft.
No, they're the football guys toughening up the soft basketball guys, right?
Yes. Well,
no, you didn't hear it from me. I didn't say Nate was soft.
No,
don't tell him I said that. Okay?
I won't. That was not Nate. Nobody said that. But the Kinsey brothers, I think, with those dunks, and we talked about Thompson attacking the rim like he does. No one would say that there was anything soft about that. So there is a competitive spirit, as it's an 83-62 lead. Foul and 1, but what do you think will be the keys? We talked about the potential for a deep run, but you're very familiar with this team, Shaun, and what do you think is going to be the key for Spring Lake Park? Because I feel like this year the record is not indicative of how good this team is. You saw that with some of the blowout wins they had early in the season. I mean, when this team's defending, they are capable of doing some things, but what's it going to take for them to do some damage in the postseason?
I mean, I think it starts with defense for this group, right? If they're defending well, that creates easy offense for them. And then secondly, just making sure they have a good flow on offense. They have enough talent to go score the ball, but making sure everybody's on the same page in terms of how are we going to attack any given opponent, where's the ball needs to go, who's got the hot hand. But it's really going to start with defense, especially when you're playing the Park Centers of the world.
Yeah, for sure, as it always does. So, Shaun, thanks again for your time and for hopping on and providing a little color analysis tonight here. Spring Lake Park wins it 83-65 over Champlin Park. We thank Shaun for stopping by and providing some color analysis and some insight about this Spring Lake Park team, which improves to 9-16 on the season, 6-12 in conference play on the strength of this 83-65 win. Win number 420 for head coach Grant Guzy in his final game on this regular season game on this home court. So again, thanks for joining us tonight here. Again, the final from Spring Lake Park High School. For Director Kenton Kipp and our entire crew at North Metro TV, I'm Bill Hupp saying good night from Spring Lake Park High School. Panthers win number 420 for Grant Guzy, 83-65 over the Rebels of Champlin Park. This has been high school basketball on North Metro TV.